Welcome, Pewter Report readers, listeners, and viewers to another edition, a Victory Monday edition of the Pewter Report podcast, energized by Celsius. I am John Ledyard from pewterreport.com. With me today on this wonderful Monday evening to
Victory
celebrate.
Monday.
Victory Monday evening to celebrate a Bucs, to celebrate and break down and analyze and all of the fun things that we do. Another Bucs victory is the one and only Scott Reynolds of pewterreport.com. Scott, how are you? How was this past weekend for you a little bit? I know you put a little money down some places. You came away with a couple wins. It was a good weekend.
I had a good weekend on DraftKings, not to mention them because they're not a sponsor, but MyBookie. We did pretty well on MyBookie. So very happy with myself on Saturday and Sunday with MyBookie. So.
It's a good weekend. I won my first ever bet, Scott. In my
Money
life.
J,
Yes,
look at you.
yes.
You're Money J now. I love it.
Yes. Underdogfantasy.com. If you don't know, the player prop bets over there are absolutely awesome. And yeah, it was like, all right, over Chris Godwin, 64.5 receiving yards. Boom. And he got to 70. It was a little tight, but he got to 70 and over under Jacoby Brissett. I put over on him having an interception, and Jamel Dean came up clutch on the tip ball. So yeah, we got ourselves 6 large over here, man. It was
there.
Good.
You go.
It was a great weekend. A great weekend for the Bucs as well. They get to 4-1. They win 45-17 over the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
We have a lot to talk about on today's show, including Tom Brady's MVP candidacy, the wide receivers on this team, potentially 3 1K receivers, and a lot of defensive woes that are going to be swept under the rug when it's 45-17, but Philadelphia is coming up and they've got some weapons, and we've got some things to talk about on the defensive side of things, what the real issue is. But first, Scott, it's all brought to us by our friends over at Celsius, and we're rocking. I got the peach vibe. You got the Fuji apple pear.
I do.
If you don't know, folks, Celsius is the best energy drink out there. 0 sugar in these things, unbelievable taste, unbelievable flavor, and unbelievable variety of flavors, but without any of the bad stuff that you get from other energy drinks or the crash. It's genuinely like a cheat code, kind of like having Tom Brady as your quarterback. It's essential energy. It burns body fat, accelerates metabolism. I don't know what else to say, Scott. They're really just the amount of varieties that you can find. You can see a bunch of them on the screen there. Wildberry in the top right-hand corner is a great one, but you can find these at Celsius.com. You can use the store locator there to find out which stores they're at near you. You can click on the Celsius banner ads at pewterreport.com. You can go to Amazon and do the subscribe and save to get yourself a variety pack of Celsius. And then, Scott, to top it off and make it even better, we've also got the fast protein bars from Celsius, the white chocolate cookies and cream, and the caramel peanut crunch. Taste unbelievable. The flavors, the decadent, silky, smooth layers on these bars. Sensational stuff. Protein bars are not supposed to taste this good, but they do. Make sure you check out the fast protein bars. There's a link in this YouTube description to click on to get yourself a variety pack of these as well. Best tasting protein bar I've ever had. I am a protein bar connoisseur over my life, and so this is the best one.
You've tasted a lot of cardboard and sawdust in your lifetime, John.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff that's supposed to taste like chocolate or cookies and cream or peanut butter crunch or whatever, and it doesn't. Yeah.
Honestly, I'd given up on protein bars before these. So if you're with me on that, check out the fast protein bars as well. Really, really great stuff from Celsius. All right, Scott, let's start with Tom Brady, right? Because this has been, we thought it would be a good season, having a better command of the offense. We thought it would look good, coming off the knee surgery and everything. But even my expectations, which were pretty high, I feel like I was kind of in his corner all year last year, even when it was like, well, he's not playing well enough. And I was like, well, actually, it's more other factors than that. And, you remember how I was dying on that hill for a while. So I was probably his fiercest defendant coming into this season. And he's blown away even my expectations with the way that he's played.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly with the 17-week season, right? I expected him to hit 50 touchdowns. He's on pace for 51. And I expected him to throw for 5,000 yards, but it's crazy, John. At age 44, no human being should be doing this, but Tom Brady is. And really, he's a mutant is what he is. It's crazy. The type of statistics he's pulling off. He's actually on pace to throw for 6,000 yards. I'm sorry, 6,007 yards. 6,007 yards.
Doesn't make sense, man.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. He's 44 years old. If he was, 24, 25, like Patrick Mahomes, you could probably believe it a little bit more. But no, this is the GOAT. And there's more GOAT greatness with this guy. He's currently leading the league in passing yards, 1,767 yards through 5 games. That's an average of 353.4 yards per game through the air. And again, on pace for 6,007 yards. Brady is number 2 in passing touchdowns behind Patrick Mahomes. He's got 15. Mahomes has 16. He's on pace for 51 touchdown passes. And with yesterday's performance of 411 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, he's now second, and he's closing in on a couple more NFL records. Second with the most 400-plus yard passing games, 36. That's right behind Drew Brees. And the same with the most games with 5 or more touchdown passes. He's got 9.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised, John, if later this year he ends up doing it again, because he's already thrown for 5 touchdowns as a Buccaneer 3 times. Once last year against the Chargers, twice this year already.
I don't know that there's necessarily, like, if you look at these major raw statistics, like, it blows your mind. Then you look at some of okay, let's dig into some of the deeper numbers. Let's see kind of, okay, there's probably some chinks in the armor, maybe a little bit as we get further into this thing. But no, not even that. As you go through some of his numbers and you get further into it, it's just even more impressive, to be honest, because he's also the Bucs are also up there in drop percentage, number of drops across the league. Tom Brady is tied for, I believe I said earlier today, the 5th most deep ball completions, 20 plus air yards or more in the NFL this season. And then they've also dropped 4, which leads the league too. So the Bucs have dropped more deep balls than any other team. So Brady's suffering because of that part of it as well. So he's completing 50% when you count those drops as completions. He's completing 50% of his deep ball passes this season, one of the better marks in the NFL right now. So it's not only that he's throwing them a lot, completing them a lot, the percentage, the accuracy is also exceptional. So across the board, Scott, there's not a statistic you can really look at. Big time throws that Pro Football Focus tracks. Like this was never right. People, this was always the knock on Brady, right? He never made the high degree difficulty throws like other quarterbacks did. I mean, that was always a ridiculous argument,
right,
but that's what people said. Now that Pro Football Focus charts this, it's kind of impossible. I mean, he was at the top of the league last year, and he's at the top of the league again this year, right now, right? One behind Derek Carr, who's in first place right now with 18 big time throws this season for Brady. And he's done that without a turnover-worthy throw this season. So
that's nuts.
He's not put the ball in harm's way at all, Scott.
All right, so John, explain this to people, because that's a different analytical type stat. People might say, well, wait a minute, Tom Brady has 2 interceptions this year, right? So explain that, give that some context.
Right. So the turnover-worthy play, as Pro Football Focus defines it, is a pass that has a high percentage chance to be intercepted or a poor job of taking care of the ball and fumbling it, something like that. So in this situation for Brady, in terms of passes, both of his interceptions, one was a Hail Mary jump ball. So he's not, potentially putting
he's
the ball
not penalized for that. Right.
Right. He's not penalized for a Hail Mary. And then the other one was off, obviously, Leonard Fournette's hands to be an interception in week 1. Both those occurred in week 1. So he hasn't actually put the ball in an interceptable location through any fault of his own at any point this season, which again is so crazy when you consider that he's also one of the highest graded quarterbacks under pressure this year too. That was the other thing. It's if you pressure Brady and knock him around, okay, but he's actually been knocked around a good bit this season, been pressured a good bit, and he's one of the highest graded quarterbacks in the league, one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the league. Yesterday, 5 of 7 for 106 yards, 2 touchdowns under pressure. There's not really any knock on him right now, Scott.
He's thrown the ball 225 times this year.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
So we're talking about huge
0 turnover-worthy plays.
That's
insane.
It's crazy, and this is it. I mean, this is only his second year in this offense. And there's a lot of moving pieces, and I mean, to not have put the ball in harm's way at this point is just bizarre. It's crazy. Like I said, the only other quarterbacks who have done it right now in the NFL who are kind of in that same category were Russell Wilson before his injury, who had also not done that, and then Carson Wentz. But Carson Wentz hardly has any big time throws. His average depth of target is basically right in front of him this season. He's hardly thrown down the ball down the field at all. Yeah, it's Mr. Glass, who plays tonight, actually. Yeah. And so you're talking about 2 guys
to break him, by the way.
I mean, it might happen, but you're expecting you're talking about 2 guys right now that are playing at completely opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of how the position is played. And so Wentz is just kind of putting the ball underneath all the time. But Brady is making all these high degree difficulty throws down the field and with pinpoint accuracy. And I mean, he's going to, Pro Football Focus has him, I believe, is the highest graded quarterback still that they have. And I know that I've disagreed with some of their grades. I've always been big supporters of them when it comes to quarterback grades, though. I love the way that they look at the full picture with quarterbacks. So I think it's just been a special kind of season. People are going to say Kyler Murray. People are going to say Josh Allen after last night, although I don't think he's had that great of a season this year compared to what he did last year. To me, it's Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert. Those kind of guys are more in the conversation with Brady. We'll see with Kyler Murray. He started hot before, Scott, and then it's really fallen off with him. Can it ever be consistent?
Well, it really pissed me off last year that Kyler Murray was the Pro Bowl selection for the NFC over Tom Brady. If Kyler Murray did not have that Hail Mary, which was viral and ESPN, put it on repeat, if he didn't have that to DeAndre Hopkins, he would not have been the Pro Bowl guy. It just that he was a highlight Pro Bowl guy. He made the Pro Bowl because of his highlights.
And he still will kind of be that guy. That doesn't mean that he hasn't been amazing, though. There's been a lot more highlights this year. He's been sensational.
There's no doubt. He's been really good this year, but last year his team didn't even make the playoffs, John.
And let's just be real. It was voter fatigue. Like voter fatigue is the problem.
There's no doubt.
With Brady. That's when you've been around as long as he is, people are just sick of it. So maybe you don't get as much of the fan vote, or maybe you get the fan vote, but other guys are just like, the bar is so high, Scott, that obviously he's on the way to the Pro Bowl this year. But I think that's the struggle with Brady, is just that he has to do things that other people just can't dream of, especially because now you've got Kyler and Josh Allen. These guys, they're going to do so much with their legs. And although that's another improved part of Brady's game, I said earlier, he's on pace to rush for 122 yards this season. That would be a career high for him. And so
look what happens when you have a good knee. It's funny, John. It's if you look at Antonio Brown, right, 62-yard touchdown yesterday. He's become the deep threat for this Bucs offense after really kind of a pedestrian, 10 yards per catch average last year. The knee injury was real, right? He had the knee surgery. He's just become a completely different receiver. He's brought a new dimension with that healthy knee. Brady, too. We've talked about it, John. You've mentioned it before. The ability to duck and slip sacks, the ability to roll out, the ability to scramble for 13 yards. John, my knees are okay, but I feel like having knee surgery just because of how these guys have really performed, right? I mean, not that I'm an athlete by any means, but like if they're performing that well, I almost wonder maybe I should have knee surgery too, just to be better, just to be a better Scott Reynolds. I don't know.
Just to be a better publisher, better editor.
Maybe, yeah.
Just let's say hi to some people in the chat here. Slim Stang says, "What up? What up?" Ape, what up? Z, glad to have you all in the chat. Emily's in the chat. Just wanted to say hi to everybody who's out here. Jonathan, I see you. Aliens out here as he always is. Josh, been a big supporter of the pod lately. Appreciate all the super chats and all the encouragement.
All right, let's talk about this Jensen thing here, because Josh
we got a super chat. Okay, right. We don't know what the deal is with Jensen, because the Bucs position their injury report to come out right after Bruce Arians is done talking to us. So we didn't know that. That's right. We don't know the Jensen's on the injury report, so we don't know anything more than y'all do at this point in time. But we get to talk to Bruce again. Do we get Bruce tomorrow?
I don't think so.
No, Todd.
We might be tomorrow. Done. Yeah, I think we might have coordinators Tuesday and Wednesday, so we might. Well, no. I think because it's a short week, I think Bruce will talk on Wednesday. No, actually, you won't, because that's a travel day. No, I think we're done with.
I was gonna say, I think we're done with Bruce. So we'll just have to watch the injury report probably, unless Byron Leftwich ain't giving anything up. So
no, that's a Bruce question. That's a BA question.
That's right. Yeah, that's what he doesn't want to say.
Passes the buck. Good
we
job,
do
Byron.
Appreciate the $5 super chat, William. This is terrific stuff, and I hope Jensen will be okay. We'll see. Very easily be just taking care of a vet on a short week. Before we get to Jonathan's super chat here, I do want to mention, just in terms of the injury report, the Bucs. I'll run it really quickly, but we did get an update on a couple of injured reserve guys. Carlton Davis, Bruce Arians had said he probably does not need surgery today. That is very good news, because surgery, in my opinion, Scott, probably would have ended his season or made it maybe playoff hopeful type of mid-playoff Vita Vea-esque comeback, maybe, but it would have been a long shot probably.
And remember, Stephon Gilmore up in New England had surgery. Same thing. Right? So sometimes
he was on the PUP list the next year.
Right. Sometimes that quad injury is so severe where you got a torn muscle, you have to go and surgically repair it. That's not the case with Carlton Davis. So so whatever type of tear he has, it's minor in nature, will heal on its own. It just needs some time.
And the other one was Bruce saying that Sean Murphy Bunting not ready yet, probably needs, I think he said, a few more weeks was how he phrased it. So
it seemed to me, John, let me get your thoughts on this. It seemed to me like Bruce was saying, with a Thursday game, probably not for Gronkowski. If this game was on Sunday, though, maybe a chance, which tells me that they're expecting him back for that Bears game the following Sunday, which would be the 24th.
I agree. Yeah. I think he's leaving the door open for this week, but Gronk didn't practice at all today. So it's a short week. You can't even be limited in a walkthrough. Today was essentially a walkthrough. I don't know. Giovanni Bernard was a full participant today. Antonio Brown, full participant, but they're listed on the injury report. Jamel Dean still listed, full participant. And Ryan Suckup was a new addition with a back injury, but he was a full participant as well. Limited in practice was Brady with that right thumb injury. Bruce Arians said it shouldn't be a concern by Thursday, but he was listed as limited. Chris Godwin limited with a knee and an ankle today. That's another. He's been on there kind of off and on, but with finger injury, stuff like that. I don't think he's been knee ankle maybe, but he's on there limited. Patrick Connor was upgraded to limited after he missed Sunday's game with a calf injury. Jason Pierre-Paul was limited with that shoulder and hand injuries. And then Antoine Winfield was limited as he comes back from concussion protocol, doing cognitive stuff. We'll see kind of what happens. Bruce Arians isn't sure. I think he's kind of cautiously optimistic they can get him cleared.
There's a chance that he might play.
Right. Lavonte David did not participate with the ankle injury. It looks like David, we're guessing a couple weeks. Ian Rappaport's report was definitely not this week. And then after that, he's week to week. Bruce Arians said he didn't see much swelling. David has not been hurt very often in his career, Scott. In fact, it's going to be weird for you. This is the first time under Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles that he will miss a game as a Buccaneer. The last time he missed one was 2018. Yeah. So this is going to be very odd for you. You probably have covered a lot of Bucs games, and not many of them have not had David on the field over the last 10 years.
He's always out there. So it's pretty rare.
Every snap. So it's very weird. And that was it for the injury report, I think. And Ryan Jensen, and Rob Gronkowski, as we already mentioned, didn't participate.
So Jonathan's a lot of people. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. The super chat is just to say thanks for all the amazing work. For fun, I'm a Pennsylvania Bucs fan. What jersey do I rep? To the Eagles, to the Eagles. I see. I already kind of spit out my my take. I was reading this too quickly. For the Eagles Bucs game this Thursday, Brady jersey red or Evans white. My suggestion would be to get a Rondé Barber jersey because that'll really get under the Eagles fans' skin. But if those are your only two selections, I think you have to go with Brady right now. I mean,
go with that red.
Yeah, I mean the only other jersey I would maybe recommend would be Blaine Gabbert.
Right.
If
you have it. If you can get it, that's a rare jersey.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's a special order. It's that rare. So
it's mostly just found in museums at this point.
Well, and I think it's coming soon to Tampa Bay stores everywhere.
That's right.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to start anything, John. I'm not. Okay, but
Gabbert started it. You're just reporting it.
I would be remiss if I didn't point out some statistics, though. Okay, I'm not saying there's a quarterback controversy in Tampa. I'm pointing out that others might make that conclusion. I'm just saying that Blaine Gabbert is 2-0 in games he's appeared in. I mean, the Bucs have a perfect record.
Yeah. Gabbert
also has a 100% completion percentage. The last time I checked for Brady, that was like 66%. John, back in school, right? You and I are different ages. You're a young pup. I'm an old dog. But 100%. If you were to grade it, like what is that? 100% is an A, right?
I would say that's an A. Yeah. In most classrooms, that's
66%. That's a D, right? 50% is an F.
Yeah.
60%.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I do.
Just saying.
I do. Okay. That's tough. Didn't think about that.
The other thing is the quarterback rating. I mean, Blaine Gabbert, 109.4, Brady, 108.5. The last time I checked, the higher the quarterback rating, the better.
Yeah.
So I'm just reporting facts, people.
Yeah. I mean, that's a compelling argument. Obviously, there's going to be some.
I'm not saying that Brady should be benched. Don't get it twisted, because I'm not saying that whatsoever. I'm just pointing out that not only do the Buccaneers have the best looking quarterback room, they've also got the best performing quarterback room, and both are important. Both are equally important.
There's a lot for the Bucs to consider on this short week. Do they want to make the change now, or do they want to make for the 10-day break? I don't know. There's a lot lot to consider. Elliot is a little concerned about us crushing Celsius at 7:30 p.m. Yeah, we're just having a swig here and there, not necessarily
This is
crushing
empty.
it.
This is just a prop. I had this
Mine is
earlier
not
today.
empty. I probably will be up a little bit tonight doing.
I actually had this at 7:30 a.m. this morning, not 7:30 p.m. That's for sure.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that makes sense. That helps a little bit. We got William's question, I think. Let's
John,
see. We got another super chat down here. Yeah, we got who's this? Yeah, Richard. Doesn't even say anything. Just giving us $20 and saying wow. Oh, he does say. He says right on, gents. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
I don't know which take you're referring to here, Richard, but they're all pretty much
probably
right
the
on,
Gabbert take is what I'm guessing. Just speculating.
Probably a big Gabbert fan just popped in the chat, saw we were talking about. All right, where's that Ryan Griffin guy? He's always the Griffin greatness.
He's gone, man. I mean, Griffin's a practice squatter, so
that's right. He only comes back from the Ag roster, which hopefully doesn't have this season. No offense to him. Let's talk about the Bucs wide receivers, Scott. But before we do, of course, I want to talk to everybody about a place that you can get even more behind the scenes with some of the Bucs content, and it's Spotify Green Room. You can talk music, sports, and culture live on Spotify Green Room. It's a terrific social audio app where you can grab the mic, you can offer your takes and your thoughts in some of these chat rooms. You can download it on the App Store, get it on Google Play. You can follow Pewter Report and jump into Spotify Green Room when Pewter Report goes live. You'll get an invitation to your phone to join in that room, and you can jump in, you can grab the mic and offer your thoughts on the Bucs, the NFL, the upcoming matchup, whatever it is. So make sure you download Spotify Green Room on the App Store and get it on Google Play to join in those awesome conversations. Bucs could have a chance here.
Hold on. Speaking of conversations, okay, you and Paul Atwell do a fantastic job with Pewter Game Day. So much so that we're not going to wait till next Sunday for the next one. We're doing another one on Thursday. How about that?
That's true.
Okay.
Yep. And Paul's not going to be with me, though. It's going to be the one and only Trevor Sikkema.
That's right.
On the game day show with me.
Pewter Game Day starts at 8:20 p.m. That's what time the game starts. That's kickoff. So the Pewter pregame show will precede that at 7:20. We'll have the Pewter Report staff on there with all sorts of predictions and matchups to watch, and Matt Matera with all of the type of betting information that you need, fantasy stuff on there. So make sure that you tune in at 7:20 p.m. for Pewter pregame. Then the main event starts. That's Pewter Game Day. John Ledyard and usually Paul Atwell. Both of you guys do a fantastic job. We have a special guest this week. It is Captain Trevor Sikkema, formerly of Pewter Report, now of Pro Football Focus. Moving on up. Love it.
Trevor's going to be on with me during that Eagles game, live in-game analysis, X's and O's. We're going to be breaking things down. I'm sure there will be the typical infusion of humor that usually occurs when Trevor exists in a space, and
a little bit of snark
when he and I get together.
So a little bit of snark.
A little bit of snark. I'm sure we might take a few more shots at players than we normally would on these broadcasts. But we'll keep it clean and we'll keep it legit. But it'll be great, and so we hope you can all join us with that on Thursday
Matt
night.
Matera getting some love here. Pewter Report gets flowers all the time. The intro to Taking Back Sunday.
That's funny to me because Matt does all the audio editing and kind of the posting it up on our audio platforms. And so a lot of time, because we've already done the show or seen it on YouTube or whatever, Scott and I don't even hear the audio version of it. So Matt just pulling in a super chat here with his Taking Back Sunday references. Justin, we really appreciate that. Good job, Matt, using a little Taking Back Sunday on there. PFF should get John back on one of their pods. Vortex says, I've been on there with those guys before. Draft season, they always have me on. I'll be on again with them in draft season, and we'll get them on here too. We always get a couple PFF guys on here. We'll get somebody on here probably the bye week. We usually get them on here. By the way, I know people are probably worried about Trevor being this close to a Bucs game again. He's still physically going to be in Cincinnati. I just want to let everybody know that Trevor is going to physically be at PFF headquarters in Cincinnati when we
I like that U.S. Trev agent. He's not Captain America. He's U.S. agent. That's good.
That's
the evil Captain America clone. That's good.
Let's talk about these Bucs wide receivers, Scott.
Do it.
A chance at 3 1,000-yard receivers. We knew this going into the year, but we didn't really want to say it going into the year as much until we had something to stand on. Now we're 5 weeks into the year, and this is kind of a legit possibility, right? I mean, right now, these are the pace that you kind of see what kind of pace these guys are on for the season. It's kind of crazy to say, but I mean, Antonio Brown missed a game. and he's still on pace for 1,100 yards, and he's playing like
10 touchdowns
50% of the snaps right now.
I know.
He's unbelievable, what he is, Scott. I mean, he's everybody's kind of getting to see it now that he knows the offense. I mean, to me, it's
John,
like,
he looked so much different in training camp, did he not? We looked at him in training camp, and it's like, no disrespect to Chris Godwin, who's in a franchise tag contract year. No disrespect to Mike Evans, greatest offensive weapon in Tampa Bay history. I mean, you're talking about a future Hall of Famer, right? 7 1,000-yard seasons to start his career, and it's going to be 8 as long as he stays healthy. But Antonio Brown was literally the best looking wide receiver in terms of separation, hands, big playability in training camp. And he has not disappointed. He has continued that right through into the season. And he's the third fiddle right now, right? Because he missed that game. You see that
he missed the game and he plays about half the snaps of the other two
right
guys.
Exactly. Yeah. So Evans, 29 catches, 393 yards, 4 touchdowns. Godwin, same thing, 29 catches, just a little bit fewer yards, 363, 2 touchdowns. AB, 20 catches, 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. You can see what those numbers translate to throughout the season when projected over 17 games.
Right.
You're talking about a pair of 90, almost 100-yard catch guy, or I should say 100 catch guys in Evans and Godwin. All three of those guys over 1,100 yards. Evans and Brown on pace to hit double-digit touchdowns. It's just truly an amazing feat that's only happened one time, and that was under Peyton Manning with the Indianapolis Colts. And you had Reggie Wayne, you had Brandon Stokely, Marvin Harrison, and it's funny because the offensive coordinator at the time was Tom Moore, who's in Tampa now as a assistant to Bruce Arians. So the Buccaneers could be the second team in NFL history to have 3 1,000-yard wide receivers. That is your Tampa Bay triple threat at wide receiver. If I had to guess right now, I would say Evans and Brown are on pace to make the Pro Bowl just because of their reputations in the league, et cetera. But
I mean, there is a chance all in the conversation. I mean, because when last 2 weeks defense focused a ton on him, Scott.
Yeah,
and that's not going to happen every week. New England and Miami play very similarly to a lot of defense in the NFL. When it goes, remember Godwin started off the season hot when they played more zone teams.
Yeah,
and now when the ball bounces back the other way, like it will with the Eagles being a very, very, very zone heavy team this week. Again, I think it could be Godwin. I don't think the Eagles are going to do this special Godwin plan, force the ball outside like the other teams did. And so I think Godwin's going to boomerang right back up there statistically, even in touchdowns. And I know you do as well. You wrote about that in the 2-point conversion today, which I thought was great. Big DZ wants to know, what are the targets here?
I got the targets. The 45 targets for Mike Evans, 41 targets for Chris Godwin, and 29 targets for Antonio Brown. So those are the top 3 guys in Tampa. Gronk's got 21. Fournette's got 24. So you can see Antonio Brown's fighting a running back and a tight end. But boy, that 16.3 yard average, he is covering some ground. He already has 6 big plays. That's catches of 20 yards or more. Mike Evans leads the team with 8, and Chris Godwin has 5. The thing about Godwin, let me just ask you this. You certainly being from the state of Pennsylvania, growing up a Steelers fan, you followed Antonio Brown his whole career. Ironically, way back in the day, I think it was Pewter Report, maybe it was Buccaneer Magazine at the time. Actually, it was Pewter Report because it was 2010 when he was drafted by the Steelers out of Central Michigan. We actually had Antonio Brown as a second-day Bucs best bet.
So you're counting that as a win, right?
Well, he wasn't drafted by the Bucs, so that's a loss, but he turned out to be a hell of a good player. Yeah. For whatever reason, that's one of the teams I gravitated towards in college football. I do a lot of college football scouting. Dan Lefebvre was his quarterback. He wasn't exactly the NFL prospect, but they had a wide open offense. Brown was a tremendous receiver, return specialist, etc. But where is he from, John? What city is he from? Do you know?
Isn't he from Miami area?
He is from Miami. That is correct. Now, how about Mike Evans? Where is Mike Evans from, John?
I don't remember.
He's from Galveston, Texas.
Okay, I was gonna say Texas actually, but I know because he went to college there, and I was like, isn't he from there? But
Now, where is Chris Godwin from?
He's Philly area.
He's Philly, baby. That's right. Went to Penn State. He is Philadelphia all the way. So I expect, as you do with your zone coverage, scouting report for the Eagles, I expect that combined with the fact that he's going hometown on Thursday night. I expect Chris Godwin to have a big night because the Philly kid's coming home.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. He had 7 catches for 70 yards, and that made some great plays, made some great runs after the catch. And we're
He's like the forgotten man, you know?
He kind of needed to step up a little. Like,
right.
It's just really, that's where the bar is at. And so a good question here, though, or a good statement, I guess. Big MGM says that AB Brady chemistry is insane. God, I'm always going to wonder what would have been if Kraft ain't cut AB from the Patriots. I just think as far as the AB separation or the AB chemistry thing, Blaine Gabbert got in the game, threw him a back shoulder pass, boom, AB adjusts, makes the catch. I am at the point with Antonio Brown now, having seen him with a couple of the quarterbacks, that I don't really even think it's AB and a specific quarterback. It's just his like, he is just that unbelievable as a receiver, because no matter what you want a receiver to do, he does it at a high level. If you want to be a timing-based quarterback like Antonio Brown or like Tom Brady is, great. Antonio Brown makes everything happens right on time. He expects the ball every time out of his break. He catches the ball in stride. He immediately maximizes every catch. He turns upfield. He's an immediate runner after the catch. Some receivers have such slower transitions to that point. His is instantaneous. He knows where all the pieces are on the field against all coverages at all times. Nobody works harder. So if you are that kind of back that is a perfectionist and all of that, great. Ben Roethlisberger was never really that type of quarterback. Certainly he grew in that way, and that was a big part of he and Antonio Brown's connection. But the Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger were unbelievable, because Ben would get out of structure when things broke down and plays broke down, and they would just connect all the time. As soon as the play broke down and Ben could escape or he shred a tackler and he looked downfield, you just got this feeling like you knew it was going to happen, because AB would never stop running. He never stopped getting open. He knew where space was. He knew how to help his quarterback. He makes combat catches. He runs perfect routes. His timing's perfect. His understanding of coverages is elite. I don't really think it's any one quarterback. I think the guy just is good all around at football. I genuinely believe he's a top 5 wide receiver to ever play the game, Scott. And I think that you're just seeing kind of that now as he gets back into the full swing of football and everything. He's that kind of player. Like, that's just who he is. And I don't think that I know that people want to say AB Brady chemistry, but I just think any quarterback that gets out there, AB is just kind of the perfect wide receiver to play with.
Is Antonio Brown a Hall of Famer?
Oh, I mean, there's not even a question based on ability, and
based
the
on
only
ability,
question for him would be off field. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is because he has to have the votes to get in by the human beings voting for him. I think the statistics speak for themselves. I think there's a lot of people that have all sorts of statistics. Rondé Barber has the statistics to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's not, because people are dumb and they, they don't understand greatness when they see it. But
I mean, AB
is. Think Antonio Brown gets into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, he spent the better part of a decade as the best wide receiver in the NFL. I mean, even if you want to put Julio in the conversation, it was always those two, and those are 2 of the top 10, undisputed. Those are 2 of the top 10 receivers in the league. I mean, if you consider Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, Jerry Rice, and probably, those 3 for sure are the top 3 receivers ever to play, in my opinion. Then you've got conversations after that with Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones, Marvin Harrison, and Antonio Brown, and some others too. I'm not going to name everybody, so don't freak out if I don't name everybody. But yeah, that's how I see it. That's how I think that where he deserves that conversation for him starts at 4 to me, and I could not put him lower than 5. He's just been way more reliable and dominant, in my opinion, consistently over time. He's been more so than Julio Jones, even to me.
Yeah, well, and certainly too, it's not just how you start, John, your career; it's how you finish too, right? I mean, that counts, because you're looking at the career as a totality. And when you look at Antonio Brown, and he's not finished yet, but if he can rehabilitate his image, if he can string together a couple of really successful seasons in Tampa Bay as a good dude in the locker room, a good dude off the field, and a very, very productive, dominant wide receiver on the field, then he has a chance to kind of wash away some of the last year or 2 in Pittsburgh, the Oakland debacle, the New England thing, like that can get washed away. But for a player like Julio Jones, who just unless he gets back on the field, I mean, I'm not calling him a thief for stealing like $30 million the last 2 years, but
there's a difference. There just is. Like, how you age matters for these conversations.
Yeah, it does.
How dominant you've been season to season, how much you've strung them together. And, we're splitting hairs. Julio's been unbelievable. But yeah, Antonio Brown, I just think that the conversation for him has to start at number 4 all time. Look at what he did. I mean, what he did was just unbelievable for the consistency that he did it with. Yeah, and honestly, we are not talking about the end. Similarly to Tom Brady, there's absolutely no reason. He's 33 years old. Like, there's no reason why Antonio Brown can't play for a couple more years. Like,
Yes,
we're just not near the
exactly.
end for Antonio Brown, is what I'm saying.
John, we're going to talk a little defense tonight because we've been so wrapped up in the offense. But you know what? When you put up 45 points, you're gonna get some offensive conversation. But the thing, John, is I don't know if you and I, some of our colleagues in the local Bucs media, if fans out there, we focus on who when it comes to 2022. Well, Chris Godwin, right? He's the franchise player.
Mm-hmm.
Carlton Davis might get the franchise tag again. I wrote about that in the Bucs Monday mailbag today. You obviously need corners, right? Bruce Arians and Jason Leiter, like, we definitely need corners, and we're going to do whatever we can to keep Carlton Davis because we understand the importance of it now that they've had a run on corners with these injuries. We've talked about Ryan Jensen. He's at that, 32 years of age. Do you bring him back? He's so good with Brady. Do you want to subject Brady in his final year to Robert Hainsey and an inexperienced center? But the guy we haven't talked about coming back, and we've also mentioned too, hey, Ronald Jones is in a contract year, Leonard Fournette's in a contract year. These guys may not be back. One of them might be whatever. We haven't really mentioned the fact that Antonio Brown might be back next year, should be back next year, right? That was kind of an afterthought heading into the season. Now, even 5 games into the season, I don't know what his price tag is going to be, but how could you not be, if you're Mike Greenberg, you're probably staying up late at night saying, how do I make this math work? Because this was maybe something we weren't really anticipating, thinking, planning for, but it's something we're probably going to have to address because Tom Brady's going to be like, Jason, Mike, we got to bring Chris and Antonio Brown back. How do we make that happen, right?
Yeah, because if you're the Bucs, I mean, to me, I would sooner live with a replacement for Ryan Jensen and Alex Kappa on the offensive line than I would try to live with new wide receivers, new pass catchers. I would prioritize Godwin, Gronkowski, and Brown over Kappa and Jensen because you have your 3 most important spots on the line locked up, and center is important, but you can find centers in today's league. And frankly, Brady is so good, even under pressure, the way he's playing right now, that I just think you could get by. Obviously, Kappa I've already kind of considered after this year. It's going to be, he's going to be somewhere else, in my opinion. Jensen, you'd love to try and bring him back, but if you have to replace both of those guys for cheap, I'd rather do that. Patriots did it for years, right? Brady just is that good under pressure, that good at recognizing things. I'm just not stressing a whole lot as long as
it's also a numbers game, John. If you've got 3 really dominant, because you can include Donovan Smith in that conversation, being dominant right now. He is playing dominant football at left tackle. The best I've seen Donovan play since the bye week of last year, right? So we're talking the final 4 games there, the 4 games of the postseason, that's 8. The first 5 games of this season, that's 13 games where I've thought very highly of Donovan Smith. That's some consistency we have not seen from Donovan Smith.
Man, he was amazing in week 5.
Yes.
He was killing people.
So it's like you got Donovan Smith at left tackle, Ali Marpet at left guard, Tristan Wirfs at right tackle. I mean, that 3 out of 5 ain't bad, right? If you have 3 dominant pieces and you can get by with finding a guard, Robert Hainsey is going to be either guard or center. Yeah.
And you sign a vet. I mean, the Bills basically made one of the best offensive lines in the league just by signing 15 dudes in free agency for cheap and just figuring out which ones were competent enough to play. You have the best quarterback of all time in those situations. Release time every year is top of the league. I just think you can live that way easier than you can live with losing multiple weapons on your offense. So that's how I'd prioritize things as they look ahead to the offseason. Obviously, Vortex is right. Donovan's gotten better every year of his career. It's amazing to see the progress and the work that he's put in. Hats off to him. He's done some awesome stuff in Tampa Bay.
It's really early, but it's like you only have so much gap. All right. I mean, Mike Greenberg will tell you that. I mean, he is a Jedi master when it comes to the salary cap, but there is a limit. Like you can
guys like Kappa, OJ, Rojo. It's just not gonna happen. Just to me, those are the moves those are the guys you have to be able to replace those types of players, in my opinion. So we'll see. Was Cam Brake got another year? Now I can't even remember.
Yes, I think Cam.
One more. That monster contract. Oh, that's gonna be the most. I think he's gonna make it, Scott. I think he's gonna play the whole thing out because OJ probably will not be back, even though I think he's looked He's been bad as a blocker, despite what Bruce says, but
Yeah.
he's been good in the pass game, in limited role, but he's done his job really well. But yeah, I just a Harbor with the $5 super chat. Let's go. Have you guys discussed how you're going to use Russ's new nickname without causing concern amongst your sponsors?
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll probably just pass and let people go listen to yesterday's podcast if they won't understand.
You mean Russ?
This one.
That's his nickname, right? Russ?
Russ.
Yeah.
That's
Russ.
what Mark Cook would call him Russ. He'd always say Russ Cockrell.
Yes. That was a veteran move by Mark. So
it was. He was a step ahead as always.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Scott, that that's how you prioritize things on the offensive side of the ball. Like, then the question becomes defense, and we'll flip our conversation to defense over now, kind of as we do that too. But first, I got to talk about our friends over at Living Golf Life, because, oh man, I mean, these guys they're changing the game a little bit here with some of the product they're putting out. Unbelievable polos. These things are so comfortable. They're great to wear out on the course. This hat is one of my favorite hats that I own, Living Golf Life hat. There's a brand that celebrates the lifestyle, really. It is golf. If you've ever been out on the course, you know what I'm talking about. You understand and you get it. But these guys get it for sure. And the products that they create and build exemplify just how much they get it. So go to livinggolflife.com, check out what they have. They got koozies, glasses, hats, polos, all kinds of stuff over there. The brand is awesome. And then follow them on Instagram as well to get more impressions for what they got. But I think you check out their stuff, ask for some presents, give it to some people for presents. I don't think you'll be sorry. It'll be it's pretty awesome in terms of Living Golf Life and what they're able to produce. So make sure y'all check out their website. Scott, let's talk about things on the defensive side of the ball, because this is where the question marks exist right now.
Yeah.
I feel like this is kind of this is the hottest topic among Bucs fans right now, Scott.
Yeah.
What is the problem right now with the Bucs defense? And we know that they outlasted. I agree with you. They outlasted the Dolphins. It was 24-17.
Right.
Beginning of the fourth quarter, they scored and then stretched it out from there and shut them out in the fourth quarter. But the Dolphins were one of the worst offenses in the league. And it's back-to-back weeks, giving up just 17 points. So we'll see what happens. But Scott, this is still a defense that is clearly – they're going to struggle right now. And now they're down Lavonte David and Carlton Davis, who I think are probably two of their best three players right now. With Vita Vea obviously being in that conversation too. Maybe Shaq Barrett as well. He's played great this season. But right now, Jason Pierre-Paul, another one of their best players, their only Pro Bowler from last year, is playing with a club on his hand. He can't tackle people yet.
Yeah.
He is bullying the coaching staff, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is. I don't like it,
80% of the snaps.
I don't like it.
I don't like it for many reasons, Scott. They said it's the heat. We had this rotation going. No, you didn't. He played almost 80% of the snaps. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka played 17 snaps, and some of them were out there with JPP. You put too much on JPP's plate. He couldn't tackle.
I agree.
Because of that, they got away from a bunch of sacks. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka needs to play more. You saw that over the last couple of weeks.
No doubt.
I think it's a mistake not to be using him more.
I agree. And I was so disappointed in Joe Tryon-Shoyinka when he missed really, he had two opportunities in the first quarter. The second one was the more egregious one. Actually, it counted as a sack because Lavonte David was closest to Jacoby Brissett when he went out of bounds. So Lavonte got the sack just for being in the vicinity. But the thing is I remember teaching my South Pasco Predators defensive line. It's like when you're in that pursuit, you've got to like angle and you've got to stay flat to the line of scrimmage, because the quarterback is going to run towards the line of scrimmage. He's running away from you, but his objective is to break the line of scrimmage and gain yards. Even if he goes out of bounds, that's what he wants to do. So you saw some of the inexperience that JTS had. And John, when we looked at some of that Washington film, right, we were kind of scratching our heads at the beginning of the scouting process saying, this guy looks like a bull in a china shop. There's not a lot of technique here. There's a lot of ability, aggressiveness, athleticism. We see that. We see the raw play. We don't see the finished product. And to his credit, he's played a lot better now in the NFL after sitting out a year, which is amazing, than he did in 2019 playing for the Washington Huskies. But that's one of those things where he just took a bad angle. You're supposed to aim for the opposite shoulder. You're supposed to go across the guy. He went and was actually taking a bad angle and missed that sack. But the thing is JTS is only going to improve by being in those situations, by missing some of those plays by making some plays. That's how you learn, by doing, not by standing on the sidelines.
Right.
This is the future. JPP is the present, but he is not the future. And JTS needs to get on the field more.
Right. And Shaggy says, how do we get JTS in the field more? He's clearly outplayed JPP, and we appreciate the $5 super chat, Shaggy. And Tobin kind of says JTS has missed multiple open field tackles a game. Yes, he has missed a couple tackles, like you said, Scott, but Pierre-Paul's missed more. Last year he was one of the worst transgressors on the Bucs team in terms of missed tackles. He himself lamented it. This year, it was still kind of a concern, but now he has one arm. So, like, now he can't even. I mean, how many? He missed 3 tackles yesterday.
He missed a sack.
He missed a sack.
Yeah, had a sack for sure.
Right, and so he's up on the list. Bucs missed 13 tackles yesterday per PFF, which is pretty lenient on missed tackles.
Yeah,
that's the highest mark for the season for the Bucs. They were just atrocious in that regard. Kevin Minter missed 3 tackles, and he only played 26 snaps. Scott, that is a massive concern.
Oh yeah,
to me, and that's more missed tackles than Lavonte David has this season. Scott, this season. He did.
I have some film, by the way, on the South Pasco Predators. We were really good.
Oh yeah, Stacy does. Yeah.
But you're right. And here's where it's concerning. We saw what Myles Gaskin was able to do against the Buccaneer defense, catching passes out of the backfield. And the thing is now you've got the Philadelphia Eagles, John, with Miles Sanders, who's a better version of Gaskin, and Kenneth Gainwell, who's one of the best pass catching running backs coming out of the draft. So they have 2 weapons now that they can put in the backfield. And guess who they're going to target? Number 51. I love Kevin Minter. Great guy. Fantastic quote. Have a good relationship with Kevin. Father Time is tapping him on the shoulder, though. He's not the fastest player now. He was faster back when he entered the league in Arizona, but Lavonte David is still pretty fast. And so I think what you're going to see is you're going to see those wheel routes. You're going to see them trying to take advantage of Kevin Minter in coverage. John, I liked your idea of maybe in nickel and dime situations, making Jordan Whitehead play that kind of nickel linebacker, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I think Minter's a little bit of a liability. The other part of Minter being a liability from a speed standpoint is Jalen Hurts. The Eagles do a very good job of incorporating him in the quarterback run game, right? This is a guy that in Hurts, I'm not kidding, has more rushing yards than Leonard Fournette does. Okay. So he can scramble. He can get out there and make things happen. Jalen Hurts right now, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, but as a runner, it's a different animal. He's got 256 yards.
Yeah.
Averaging 6 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. And I'm telling you, when he breaks the pocket, he's not going to be running towards Devin White. He's going to be running away from Devin White towards Kevin Minter, making Minter make some of those open field tackles that he kind of missed on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the story of the game, is how much Minter plays probably and what kind of situations Bucs leave him in. This is not only just because I don't think he's, I don't know, I wonder what's left, but also because the Eagles are probably one of the hardest teams for linebackers just because of how much they like to option off and use their quarterback in the run game, and the reads are different for linebackers. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. White's athleticism will help him a lot, obviously, but Hurts is tough. He's a bizarre player to watch. I mean, he could just make an unbelievable play and then take a 20-yard sack. But he's the smartest kid. He's learning. He's growing. Yeah. Those guys will all die for him on the field. Like, that's the thing. And Brissett has some of that too. And I think that changes the game. Guys just play so hard for both of them. And I think that makes a big difference, honestly. Even though I think some of that stuff I know gets overrated at times with quarterbacks, I think that matters for O-line and all that kind of stuff. So I do think there's a lot of challenges for this defense, Scott, and missed tackles is the big one. So I'm glad we're touching on it because I think it's huge. The Bucs are dead last in the NFL in terms of yak allowed, yards after catch allowed as a defense. To me, that is way more the story than their individual cornerbacks suck in coverage. Like Richard Sherman gave up 5 yards in this game per PFF. Ross Cockrell gave up 43, and 34 of them came on a play where they just all missed the tackle. It wasn't even totally his fault. It was just
that Preston Williams catch and run.
Yeah, Preston Williams catch and run, and they just took a bad angle on the tackle. It wasn't because they couldn't cover, is what I'm saying. Now, I'm also not saying they can cover. I'm not saying they are great in coverage. I'm just saying that has not been the main concern so far. The main concern has been, can you tackle in the open field?
Right.
Can you limit yards after catch? And will the scheme allow you to be in position to do those things? And not just the corners. They're dropping edge defenders out into coverage. Okay, now you've got to close in space and make tackles, not for 7-8 yard gains that allow teams in 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 2 in situations where they can easily convert, but it for 2 and 3 yard gains when all these passes are going underneath. I said it on the pregame show, the Bucs as a defense, opposing offenses have the shallowest average depth of target against Bucs defense than any other defense in the league. They're averaging just around 6 yards from the line of scrimmage is average depth of a target against the Bucs defense. Nobody's throwing the football down the field against them. Nobody's succeeding when they throw the football down the field against them, but everyone is picking them apart short to intermediate. And a lot of it isn't on their corners, even though their corners may not be good. We don't know. They certainly have not been great by any stretch, but a lot of the production is not coming against them. It's coming against the scheme. Just the weaknesses in the scheme are getting exploited because pass rush doesn't get home or pass rush doesn't finish. And it's coming because tackling in the open field and closing and angles in the open field.
I don't have a problem with this soft zone. I don't have a problem with it at all, as long as you come up and tackle, right? That's the whole key. But they're doing the first part fine, soft zone. Second part is after they make the catch, come up and tackle, rally, and limit the yards after catch. They're not doing that part, and that's where they're going to get into trouble. Maybe not this week, although I will say, in doing like a little bit of advanced scouting for the Eagles today, they've got some bigger play weapons, and Jalen Hurts is not afraid to push the ball down the field. But if you look at just a quick look at the stat sheet from doing some stat sheet scouting, Quez Watkins was a player I liked out of Southern Miss. Why? Because the dude has wheels. He's got a 91-yard catch already, 20.5 yard average. Devontae Smith, the first rounder, 12.6. Dallas Goedert, the tight end, 14.4 average. They've got a better set of weapons than the Dolphins had for sure. Now, there wasn't a Devontae Parker out there on Sunday, which really limited what the Dolphins could do. But still, you saw Preston Williams step up, make some big catches. Jalen Reagor is more quick than fast, but with those two running backs, Gainwell and Sanders, Jalen Hurts with the ability to scramble, which Jacoby Brissett didn't have, they've got some ways where they can present some challenges for this Buccaneer team. I'm not saying I'm going to bet against the Buccaneers, John.
No, I'm not either. But this is going to be a tough game.
Yeah, this is going to be tougher than the Dolphins game for sure. You know, so it's interesting because the line opened up at -7, Tampa Bay, and I'm inclined to think the Bucs win by a touchdown or more, not by 45-17. But and of course, what I'm talking about, folks, is MyBookie, where I had a very good weekend. Where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I always tell people to put your money down at MyBookie. Arizona Cardinals, right? They've come out to a hot start. The Chiefs have as many losses now as they did last year. And with all the overs hitting in the dying seconds of a game, there's never been a better time to get in on all the action. Thankfully, MyBookie's lock of the season has returned to the Vegas-Seattle NHL opening night game. And when either team scores in the game, you win. You heard that right. When the lamp lights red, you get the bread. Take the easy win, pat yourself in the back, and use your winnings towards your NFL picks for Week 6, which includes a battle between two Super Bowl contenders when the Cardinals beat the Browns. Don't miss out on winning season. Head to MyBookie, use the promo code PEWTER, and double your first deposit. That's the promo code PEWTER. You can double your initial funds to double your winnings. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And John, I'm telling you right now, MyBookie does this stuff a couple times a year. They did it for the Bucs-Cowboys game, which was if either team scores a point, you win, right? That's what they call the lock of the season. So if you are a MyBookie customer, make sure you go bet on the Seattle NHL game, because if either team scores a goal, you win. It's a free $25. Bet the 25. It's the most you can bet, but they do this a couple of times a year. It's free, easy money. I did it for the Bucs Cowboys. I've already done it for the Kraken game, the first Seattle NHL game. MyBookie.ag.
Yeah, it is a great deal. They have always got ways you can get yourself some money in your pocket. It's awesome stuff. So definitely check out MyBookie.ag. Okay, so we've kind of covered it, Scott, a little bit. And not that I don't think there are things that the corners can do better. I do, but to me, it's it's a sub point like of the defense. Like that's going to be an obvious point when you have both your starting corners out of the lineup, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not expecting there to be no concern at corner, but the fact that it isn't the primary concern just moves it way down the list to me. We may get there if everything else gets better. Teams start throwing the ball down the field. Now you got guys that can't find the football, they can't cover. Okay, like we're gonna.
Did you say find the football?
Yeah,
John, we had a
Jamel
Dean
Dean
interception.
Jamel
Dean, you got it.
I mean, this wasn't that hard of a pick, but he dropped a similar one against the Rams.
I was going to say, it was a repeat of the Cowboys, or not the Cowboys, the Rams game where he dropped it in the first quarter. So, yes, Jamel Dean, the roller coaster needs to stop, right? Bad game, started low against the Cowboys, then went up, had a great game against the Falcons in week 2, then kind of a bad game, bad start to the game.
He got hurt, didn't he?
Well, that's a really bad game.
Pick, but he didn't give up any catches, did he, in the Rams game?
I don't know, but he got hurt, but he dropped a pick. That's never good. So then he comes back, and now he's back up with an interception against the Dolphins. So
great. It wasn't just the pick either, Scott. Remember, he had I thought he got hosed on the catch that they said he allowed. I thought he made a great play pushing the guy out of bounds, and then
2 pass breakups,
couple pass breakups,
5 tackles.
That's how Tampa Bay needs him to play. Like that's what they need from him, because Sherman might be better, but he's not going to give you vintage Sherman.
Right. And he's not as fast. Jamel Dean is your fastest defense back on the field. He's got to play fast and play confident. I asked Bruce Arians about that today. And he said, listen, we won a lot of football games with Jamel Dean as our corner. And I think that, hey, listen, he's picking that pass off right in front of Todd Bowles in that picture. So that's about as good as it gets for Jamel Dean, because there was some rumbles inside the building. They were really concerned about how he would bounce back from that knee injury, how he would play. This is a big confidence booster. Bruce Arians said that for him. And listen, John, the roller coaster ride with Jamel Dean needs to come to a stop, right?
Hey,
he's more consistent.
You know who the roller coaster ride has come to a stop for, Scott? I think it's come to a stop for Leonard! What are you doing out here? Falling out, Leonard. This is amazing.
Touchdowns. What are you doing?
This guy. Look at this outside zone with the Bucs. Look at the blocks up front for the big dogs. Then he runs through a little arm tackle, put the shoulder down, finish through contact. Telling you, Scott, looks like a different Leonard out here. Look at this. Look at this wide receiver Leonard here. What are we seeing here?
Effortless catch.
Running the out route. Let's show that one again. Running the out route here. Look at this. Boom.
Nice
put the
cut.
foot in the ground. Explode
Separation.
Out, catch on the sideline. Boom. Brady trusts him. Hits him with the timing route. This is the best one. This is the best one, Scott. Little in motion. Oh, we're going to get him quick. Designed throw out to Leonard.
Flip.
Whoop. See ya. Oh, see ya. Boom. Takes the whole look at him. He's still up.
You can't take him down.
Him out of bounds.
Oh, where's the flag?
I'm telling you, man. It looks like a different guy, though, Scott. Just the purpose in the open field, the elusiveness, the strength. Like, he looks invigorated again. Like, different Leonard. He says he's worked on it. He really wants to be a guy that Tom Brady trusts. And I know it is about Leonard. Hats off to Leonard. But, man, Scott, it keeps taking me back to the Brady factor. Like, this is a different human being, not just a different player, a different human being in Leonard Fournette since he got here to play with Tom Brady. Like, he doesn't want to let that guy down.
It's like Tom Brady. He's like Professor X, right? And like he just brings in all these X-Men off the street, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, trading for Rob Gronkowski. Right. He just assembles the superhero team, and he's not in a wheelchair, especially with that knee surgery, but the mind, he beats you with his mind, and he gets these guys to play above their abilities. He gets them to believe in themselves and believe in the team. And, of course, believe in Brady. You'd be an idiot if you didn't believe in Tom Brady. But, yes, I mean, the Brady effect on this team is just – it's astounding. It's even more than I thought it would be.
Oh, nobody saw this coming from Leonard, man.
No.
The last couple of weeks. Now, can it be consistent? I don't know. We'll see. Like, I hope. Oh, man, it'd be huge if it can be.
Yeah.
The fact that he's done as well as he has in
calls himself all season Lenny now, too.
All season Lenny. Yeah. Like, he's gone from a guy who in Jacksonville, they were like, man, he's a problem. Like, he's this, he's that. We got to get him out of town, to like a guy that Tampa Bay like adores. And I think the feeling's mutual. Like, I think he knows he can make more money somewhere else after this season. And that obviously, he's young. It's a different situation than AB.
I'll tell you what, though. We'll see what
happens.
Yeah. I mean,
but Rojo's out of here. Yeah. So,
yeah. But the thing is, there was maybe there's more money for Leonard if he comes back here next year after 2 years of producing. If he gets 1,000 yards and maybe 500 yards receiving, something like that. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing too is we give Brady all this credit. Bruce Arians also deserves a lot of credit because he is a guy that as Mark Hope would always point out, Bruce Arians is the kind of guy he's a Bear Bryant disciple. He will get in your grill and cuss you out and then hug you. He'll say, like, I can't stand your football player, but I love you as a person. I just want you to be a better football player. It's not personal. And I think that heart-to-heart talk that he had with Leonard Fournette really kind of turned him around. And listen, it's hard. I mean, Jason Light has told me for years, there is the 5-star virus is real. It's real. It ruins kids. These rivals rankings and scout rankings and stuff. There's so many kids that just get ruined by the hype because they believe it, they buy into it. And it's on them because they don't have the work ethic, that they don't have the perseverance, right? Everybody tells them they're great. They're the star, this, that, and the other. One day you're not the star, One day it doesn't happen. And that was the case for Leonard Fournette. He was the star everywhere, high school, LSU, Jacksonville. And then he wasn't here. And it was a moment where he had to, stand and deliver or, pack his bags and get out. That's what Bruce Arians said. And he decided to stand and deliver, and he did.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. And I think it's a cool part of the story for sure. And definitely happy to celebrate when he does good things on the field, and he's doing them right now. So hats off to him. And yeah, we'll talk more about this Eagles Bucs upcoming matchup as the week proceeds. Scott, we'll be off the show tomorrow. Yep. And then Wednesday, we're back 4 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back live on the show. We'll have Eagles Bucs preview in depth as we do every single week before the game. And then on Thursday, as Scott mentioned, we'll have the Pewter pregame show starting at 7:20, about an hour before kickoff. Then for the in-game live stream, myself and Trevor Sycamore will be with you throughout the Bucs Eagles game on Thursday night. It starts at 8:20. The game starts at 8:20. We'll be with you throughout the game, breaking everything down, live analysis on the show. And then the post podcast will be about 40 minutes after the game ends, too. We stay with you through that as well. So it's a late night for us, but y'all always stay up with us. Hopefully we have a Bucs victory to talk about.
Yes.
And it'll be a fun time on the Thursday night show. So exciting stuff. We're looking forward to getting into it all this week, and we appreciate everybody in the chat. Great stuff.
Thanks
Great
for those
show.
super chats too. We appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Super chats. Huge.
Yep.
So we'll see y'all again on Wednesday for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.